everyone, today's unboxing is on Rogaine. Rogaine is actually, it's called minoxidil, but you'll see a lot of the generics come out as a Rogaine looking name. But minoxidil was originally used for another reason as far as a medication about 20 to 30 years ago. But one of the side effects that was found was hair regrowth. So it was fine-tuned in the form of topical instead of oral, and since the discovery and the use, it has been successful with making hair grow again. So the idea though is, or the rumor online, here is the 5% in case you can see that. That is the cover. This is just a Meyer brand, but you can probably find different qualities. I could not find this on Consumer Lab, so I wasn't sure about a independent review. And that's what it looks like. So there are some applicators that are solution, and you have to put it on the skin. So the way this works is, without getting into the details of DHT or testosterone or androgen, those are hormones, there seems to be an imbalance. And even if it's genetic, in many cases when you are starting to have male pattern baldness, or in some cases if you're female, if you're starting to have some problems with thinning, alopecia areata, this is worth a try. The only problem is it's a pain, because this one in particular is a foam. I'm not sure how to open it up, but I can probably figure this out. Aha! Line up arrow to arrow, and then something should happen. Oh, there you go. So it's a foam. You have to push it, and you have to apply it like this. And I'm not going to do it because, well, I'll get all over the place. However, let's just go ahead and practice here. Oh, all right. So that's the foam. You're supposed to put a palm-sized amount, and you're supposed to rub it into your hair or your scalp. And when the scalp experiences or comes in contact with this, eventually what happens is the hair follicles and the pore where the hair comes from are supposed to start changing the amount of hormone, and with that you'll see the production of fine hairs. The problem is that you have even smaller hairs that are very insignificant in the way, so they come out of the same pore. So I don't have an illustration here, but imagine that you have a tiny hair that's insignificant or thin, and the same bulb or follicle or pore wants to get a better hair out. You'll actually see the tiny hairs shed first. So the misconception is that you will start losing hair after this, and that's a bad thing, but it actually is you'll lose the finer hairs first, and then the big ones come in. But as you know, with people who shave, or in fact, people who shave, whether you shave your underarms or shave your body hair or shave your face, it does take a while. I'd say most men get a haircut about once every 4 to 6 weeks, women about every 8 to 12 weeks. And so the hair continues to grow. Well, just as slow as that happens with your experience, it also will take a little bit of time before the cheap, tiny hairs get pushed away and the bigger hairs come in. So most people will give up after, say, 2 to 4 weeks, when in actuality you're supposed to do this every single day for about 3 months before you see the the new big hairs come in. And it's going to be slow, just like you normally would have with your hair changeover or your haircuts. It's going to be slow. But that's why it's nice to get an opinion, take pictures and get an opinion from your hairdresser about whether they're seeing things come in deeper. Because you have to actually look at your bald spot or your thin spots to notice, and it takes a hard look, and usually you can't do that on your own, so you have to have somebody else do it. But the hairstylists are very good with noticing differences. Sometimes even they have to take pictures. You should take a picture as the transformation occurs. Don't be scared if you do lose a lot in the first 2 months, but power through and continue. And yes, That's the second thing. So the first problem is that fallacy is that people will say they lose their hair, and they do. That's the tiny insignificant hairs to make way for the big hairs. Second fallacy is that you'll go bald after you stop using it, and you won't. The idea is that this is supposed to change around hormone a little bit, so that if there was a hormone that was blocking or accumulating, preventing the hair from being lush and vibrant, this will change around the hormone consistency. So you will have, during the time that you apply this, more abundant hair. If you stop using it, you might have the loss of what you gained, but you won't have it worse than before. So worst case scenario is if you stop using the product, it might bring you back to where you were before. It shouldn't bring you into a case of having more male pattern baldness or more thinning, so you should be okay. But here's the deal. I mean, it is a little pricey. You might be able to play around with different brands, but you have to use a shampoo anyway. So if you have to use a shampoo, you have to use a conditioner. If you don't, you should be taking care of your hair that way. But if it only costs a little bit more and it doesn't cause any problems internally, why not just use it for the rest of your life until you don't care about the way your hair looks? So yes, second fallacy is that you will lose more hair. You won't lose more hair. It'll bring you back to where you were before. And if that's the case, you restart again. But again, the restart's a little slow. You should always get your tests from your doctor, thyroid testing, hormone testing, male or female, and sometimes deficiency imbalances too. There's a oral supplement that a lot of dermatologists sell, a little expensive, called Viviscal. I have a previous video on hair, so I'll put a link down below. But I think it's worth it, and there's very little side effect. So I'd say for its price and the lack of side effects and the great studies, this has been studied for another reason. The original reason for the pill has been studied long and found to be safe. The secondary reason for hair growth definitely has been documented and well experimented with, so I think you're safe with this. So I'm going to give this a thumbs up, but the question is, how is it going to be feeling, and is it much of a pain in addition to your shampoo and conditioner to do this and let it sit? That's the other thing. You do have to let it sit for a while to make contact with the hair. I haven't experimented with it yet, but anytime you have a topical solution, it's supposed to make contact for a while. So the likelihood is when you shampoo your hair, that can come off because usually it takes grease away, dirt away, and gives you fragrance. When you condition your hair after the shampoo, which you should be doing, it's supposed to stay on, almost like wax on a car. You have to let it stay on for a little bit and let it bind with the cuticles, with the hair follicles, with the scalp. Well, this too probably has to stay on even longer than the conditioner. So I haven't found the cycle of when to do it. I would probably use it before the conditioner, but so again, that might be a deal breaker, because if you shampoo in the shower, then you have to put this on, then you gotta wait there for a while, and then you rinse it off, and then you put the conditioner on. It could be a problem. Now, the other way around that is you do your usual shampoo and conditioning, and your product, if you use product, if you're a male or female, and then you might want to put this on afterward and just let it sit. So that is an option, but there probably is a little bit of a gloss to this, so you have to really work it in, or perhaps just use it on those spots that you're going to shy away from or hide anyway. So I don't think you're going to have too much of a gloss with this kind of applicator, but and there's no smell to it. So you'll have to work with that. Whether you do the really strict way between shampoo and conditioner, or you just do the more practical approach, just keep on once a day. Try not to vary too many things during the 3-month experiment, and then try to notice with documentation the effects, lack of effects, or the positive effects, and then you can go on from there. But no problems with using this for a long time. Hopefully you can find cheaper versions of a good product, and all the minoxidils are different, so you have to trust the companies that you can use in the long run.